Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 72. I give you the house of dirt. That's right. Big energy tonight. Pull up a chair, get tuned in. It's Studio 02, brought to you by Chad's Used Auto Parts. And we got a big show for you. As always, we promise, we deliver. Elbows up staff. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, Studio 02 tonight. As promised, we're going to deliver you a good show, as always. That's right. A lot going on this week. A lot of racing last week. Got some racing going on coming this weekend. Weather's been beautiful out, obviously. Makes good fall weather. Good racing weather. We hope everybody's doing okay. A lot going on in this great nation of ours right now. God bless everyone. That's for sure. Need I say more on that? We're going to go ahead and get set in back here. Once again, I'm Tommy Cradell. This is the House of Dirt, brought to you by Elbows Up Dirt Productions. Episode number 72, brought to you. There we go. Got a packed house tonight. There's no doubt about it. We got a packed house tonight. Everybody tuned in. Everybody good. Fred's okay. Mark? Okay, that's good. Got Mark the Shark on Tactical, Fast Freddy's on the AV. That's exactly right. We got a full house. Man, I tell you what, been excited here to get down to business here this Thursday on this episode. It's hard to believe we're at 72. That's exactly right, but we're here. We're going to get the job done. First and foremost, like we always do, we'll run our sponsors. Without our sponsors, obviously, we don't exist. So we love our sponsors, and they love us. So here we go. Let's do it. TRW Race Cars by Tom and DJ Myers and family. Dirt late model chassis, past and present technology components are made in-house, safe, affordable, and competitive. That's right. Chaz is logistics, scrap daddy. He's in the trucking business. That's right. Moving freight up and down the highway all day, all night long. Riding for suicide awareness, Richie Dobson. That's right. You want to give him a look. This guy does a tremendous amount of work for suicide prevention. Text 988. Remember, everyone's life is extremely important, and Richie goes above and beyond to support that mission. God bless him. TA Work Construction, home remodeling, 40 years in the business, Navy vet, sponsors the 270 micro class of Path Valley, doing a lot of renovations up there continuously to better the joint. Geared Up Firearms, sales, training, gun cleaning. They have a lot of gun concealed carry classes located in Westminster, Maryland. You want to see Donna and Cody, they'll get you fixed right up there. They've been with us since the beginning, and we appreciate it. D&D Auto Recycling, go see Dougie. That's right. Dougie will hook you up some way, shape, form, or the other over there. He'll take care of you in Williamsport, Maryland. Midway Seal Coating, that's Tommy Slanker and Cole Slanker. They continue to put down quality asphalt sealing, striping, driveways, parking lots. Give them a call for all your needs. Lynn Billy, racing alcohol. You get a hold of Lynn, get a hold of me. You ain't buy her any cheaper, I can tell you that. It's good quality racing alcohol. It'll get you fixed up. Jones's Custom Detailing, located in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Vehicle cleaning packages, superb detailing inside and out. You find him on Facebook. He also wheels the number 5 East Coast Legends machine. He's on a little hiatus now. He has a broken wrist there from a crash there several weeks ago, but he's on the mend. That's right, he's on the mend. Dillman Hauling, dump trucks out of New Bloomfield, Pennsylvania. They got all your hauling needs, aggregates, wood, you name it. They'll take care of it, Dillman Hauling. Freeze Motorsports, owner of the East Coast Legends, all of your Legends racing needs, official Inex dealer of Pennsylvania. Find them on Facebook at Great Ethics Leadership, Class Act Race Series, East Coast Legends, Freeze Motorsports. TB's Body Shop, 35 years in the business out of Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. Also does a lot with the Thunder cars there. Path Valley, quality body work. See Tim Burkholder. He'll take care of all your auto body and collision needs. Chaz's Used Auto Parts, proud sponsor of Studio 02, which we are setting in right now here in the east side, downtown Rouserville. That's right. We hope you're tuned in, by the way. We got new towers here. AT&T, they put some towers up, didn't they, Fred? We got superb reception now, I guarantee you. Chaz got 30 years in the business, Tawnytown, Maryland, all types of used auto parts, best deals around. G-Money Transport, they're humping down the highway hauling freight as well out of Tawnytown, Maryland. Dan's Auto Repair. He's in the east side downtown Rousersville. You see Chad down there. Full service garage inspections, tire rotations, oil changes, complete overhauls. Been in business for decades. You see Chad will get you fixed up. Bob Dunn Racing Products, BDR, stock car drag, street rod. He's at Path Valley every week. Ceilings Grove, he's up there. Hoosier Tires, Racer Tires. He got the whole 9 yards. Bob Dunn Racing. They'll take care of you. Hams Oil by Aaron Miller. Oils, lubes, always get that messed up there. You know what I'm saying, Fred? Oils, lubes, and greases. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Aaron Miller out of Hagerstown, Maryland. They take care of you. Piper's Complete Lawn Care Service. Mercersburg, Pennsylvania. Mow trim, landscape, yard cleanup. You see the Pipers. Jace Piper there. He's the entrepreneur in charge. Like that. Cutting the grass. They're getting pretty busy. It was a pretty good busy year to cut grass, I can tell you that. Getting a little dry now, but it is what it is. We all good, guys? Everybody's tuned up? Everybody's good. That's what I'm talking about here in Studio 2. Big show on tap tonight. We've been looking forward to this one. Like I said, a lot to talk about, so we're going to rest through all this stuff. I'll get a drink, and we'll get down to the meat and potatoes of things. MGK Racing, Michelle Gunner and Keith Walls, limited late model racing team right here in Franklin County, number 462, number 85, the 462, fresh off a victory there 2 weeks ago at the fabulous Bedford Fairgrounds Speedway. We wish the number 85 Gunner Walls best in his healing right there. He was concussed from Port Royal, so I'm sure he's on the mend. Cannon Powder Coating. We welcome Cannon Powder Coating on board, Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Powder coating and sandblasting, service and manufacturers, automotive, commercial, racing, agricultural, residential, veteran-owned. See them guys in Chambersburg, best powder coating jobs you can get around. I can assure you that. Victory Lane Repair. Kyle Lee, that's right, the owner. He's the driver of the super late model, the 2T, the General Lee, located in Greencastle off 81 there. Heavy truck repair, overhauls, inspections, and tune-ups. Walls Wallpapering and Painting. You see Todd Walls. He's been in business 35 years. He drives also one of the Micro Midget 500 cc's. This guy, interior, exterior painting, wallpapering, quality work, dependable work. You give Todd Walls a call, you won't be disappointed. Ashley Yoder Designs, wraps, race cars, decals, signs, apparel. Find her on Facebook. She does one heck of a job. And then David H. Martin, excavating 55 plus years in the business, residential, agriculture, commercial, all your utilities and excavation needs. Multi-generation, family-owned. You can't go wrong. They're also the title sponsor of the East Coast Legend Racing Series. That there, my friends, is your sponsors right there as we see them fit. I tell you, like I said, we love our sponsors. They support us. Obviously, we support racing. We support the owners, the drivers, the fans, the whole big wheel that keeps on going round and round. That's why we're here. So we're going to take a look at a few race results. Obviously, there's a lot on the burner this week, not only in racing, but it's in the American public's eyes. We see some, today's obviously Remembrance of September 11th, okay? And the selfless act that occurred many, many years ago that affected families forever and ever. God bless those folks. We also, God bless the family of Charlie Kirk. We'll mention that as well. And such a heinous crime that has occurred and should never have occurred in the great country of the United States of America. God bless those folks right there. And may justice serve itself and find that person, and he shall get hung. So, moving on. Race results brought to you by Dan's Auto Repair. That's right. Dan's Auto Repair, located just down the street here, east side downtown Rousersville. All your inspection, oil changes, overhaul needs, we're going to go ahead and get with it with our results. We take a look at Port Royal. Obviously, Port Royal, we had the Tuscarora, the Tusky, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday show on tap, okay? We've seen Thursday night in the 410 Sprints, Macri was victorious. Friday, Reitzel was victorious. And Saturday, Ryan Timms. There you have it. He started out the week rough a little bit. I believe he tore up a car, Mark, correct? He tore up a car pretty hard early in the week, Timms did. And obviously, he redeemed himself and parked it on the big stage there Saturday night. Limited late models, they took effect as well on Saturday night. They were on the card, obviously. And, Friday night. Limited late model. We've seen Snooky. That's right. Lane Snook was victorious. Blake Moore ran second. Jackson Garman puts out another solid podium finish with a top three. Mind you, Jackson Garman just took delivery of a brand new TRW Myers race car this past week, and they'll be sporting that thing here next year, maybe even this year. I'm not sure, but definitely next year. Winchester, moving on. Limited late models. We've seen Austin Stover. He was victorious in the limiteds. Bone Break ran second. Kuntz was third. Rush was there. Okay, that was a big show. I believe it paid $5,000. It started at 4. I think it went to 5. The captain, Cal Hardy, was victorious. For Rush that night, he's obviously won several Rush races over the weekend. I believe State Line was 1. Wonderling was 2nd. Carico was 3rd. Bridgeport would have been Fall Clash, stop number 2. Okay, that would have been stop number 2. Obviously, stop number 1 in the Fall Clash was Bedford for the Labor Day 55, which Mason Ziegler roared on that and parked it in Victory Lane. Unfortunately, Bridgeport rain was canceled. That takes them and moves it to Fall Clash number 3, which takes it to Kutztown, the Foley Action Track. We were there, reported, did our coverage at Foley. Beautiful. I love going to Kutztown, don't we, Fred? It's beautiful. It's a nice area. It really is. Nestled right there in the university. And, yeah, we see 12 cars. I think the car count was a little bit, that was a little low. But it is the way it is, okay? Ultimately, we've seen Feathers. Feathers in the Pete Cameron 72 was victorious. Ziegler was 2nd. Bernheisel was 3rd. The cars that ran there, I mean, they got around the racetrack. There was no doubt about it. I mean, it was pretty interesting. It was. It would have been interesting to see maybe 16 or 18 of them out there, you know. But, no, it was a good deal. It was a good deal. Number 4 is tomorrow night, Fall Clash. And that's co-sanctioned with ULMS, Zuver and Company. And that's at Outlaw in Dundee, New York. We were there last year in Dundee, Mark the Shark and I. It's quite the haul up there. You're in modified country up there. Beautiful area. Up around, what is it, Mark? The Watkins Glen.
Watkins Glen.
That's right. It's up in the Watkins Glen area. That's right. Dog Hollow. Benton again. Benton was victorious. He racks them up there pretty good in the 358, the limited late model. So Benton was victorious. We seen J.R. Toner run 2nd, and then lo and behold, Taylor Farley. He puts it on the podium, runs a 3rd. Taylor, he wasn't banned from Dog Hollow. You know what I'm saying? He was banned from Sheets there somewhere around Bedford, but I don't think in Dog Hollow. No, he's good. He's good. He made it there. It's good to see him. They turned their program around. They're doing quite well. Good for them. Path Valley, seen the Wingless Sports with Joey Hershey. Joey Hershey was victorious in the Wingless Sportsman's at Path Valley. That's right. They had 29 cars signed in. They started all 29. And we seen Donnie Farley. Donnie Farley, he ran 2nd, didn't he, Mark? He ran a solid 2nd place in that car. Thunders, Utsi was victorious. And in 305s, Doug Dotson. In 305s, they were at each other's neck, weren't they, Shark? They were fighting and carrying on and swinging at each other, and oh my goodness. Apparently it was a carryover from Port Royal on Thursday night when they were there. I think the guy, Cruz Kepner and Timmy Bittner. They were fisticuffs there, and then they carried over to on the start. They flipped each other on the start of the feature over there, and things went downhill pretty quick. But Doug Dotson was victorious there. Looking at Path Valley, though, September 20th, East Coast Legends. That's not this week, but the following week. Summer Slam, Dr. Krause's Summer Slam, $1,800, 1,800 smackers, okay, to the winner of that. That's a good paying show for our East Coast Legends. And then September 28th, shall we not forget what the 28th is? Mark?
World of Outlaws.
Good call, Mark. Yeah, exactly. Kubota High Limit Series, right? They'll be in town. At the Quarter Mile Bull Ring. I'm going to tell you, get there early because she's going to be a packed house. I can assure you that. There's going to be a lot of good racing. Everybody's highly anticipating that, including the drivers. They've talked a lot about it. Rico Brew cannot wait to get up there. That's what he said when we talked to him the other week at Port Royal. Let me see. Other upcomings. Well, Hagerstown, they're set this weekend for Friday and Saturday for Small Car Nationals, okay? Obviously, some people may have read or may have not read in the Auto Racer the fate of where Hagerstown Speedway stands out of Lisa Plesinger's mouth herself. It looks pretty dismal, I got to be honest. And what a shame. What a shame. We were just having that discussion here a little bit ago. It looks like it could be a once-a-month deal, once-a-month racing. That's what we're reading in the Auto Racer. It's all we can go by at this point in time. Do we find out any different? Once again, if you're just tuning in, I'm Tommy Gradell. We're at the House of Dirt, episode 72, Elbows Up Dirt Productions. You guys good over there? Freddie, Mark, everybody's tuned up, signed in? Good. That's what I'm talking about. Path Valley, limited late models and modifieds this weekend. That's right. BAPS, you'll see limited late models and East Coast Legends, okay? Dog Hollow, you'll see limited late models from what I understand, okay, in crates. Ceilings Grove, how about this? The Sand Hill Thrill. I like that. The Sand Hill Thrill. You know what I'm saying? That pays 10,000 smackers on Saturday night to the super late models. The Sand Hill Thrill. Sunday, They're back at the Snyder County Oval, Sand Hill. They're back for the Jim Nace Memorial. 15,626 smackers gets paid through the 410 sprints. Let me say that again. $15,626, the 410 sprints. What am I missing here? I mean, that's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And they also have limited late models on the card that night as well for Sunday to accompany the 410 race as well. Okay? So hopefully their crowds are good. I can't imagine they wouldn't be, car counts and crowds and such. Lincoln, they're running the Weldon Sterner Memorial. I think that's, 10,000 some? Like that. That's Saturday night, obviously, at Lincoln. So Weldon Sterner Memorial. That's always a good showing right there for the 410s. We appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, we got a lot to get to here, and we've been anticipating this show. Everybody's been doing good, and the weather's been beautiful. Racing's been full steam ahead. There's a lot of racing left, guys, so get out there, get to the races. Bedford's got a lot of things. Next weekend, you'll see the Troutman Memorial, Friday and Saturday, okay? You'll see that going on, okay? Then it'll take several weeks. You'll see it come back for the Keystone Cup, okay? The Keystone Cup. 2-day event. Pays big money, like my grandmother always said, big money, okay? Don't forget to get over to YouTube. That's right, the Elbows Up Dirt Productions. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. Like I said, Zuckerberg, after 30 days, he kicks all the videos off Facebook. They're forever gone, okay? So it's over on the YouTube channel. They don't touch that. It's over there. It's safe. They're banked. Everything we do goes over there. So go over and subscribe. Where will we be this week? We'll be at Ceilings Grove. Fast Freddy and I will be doing the pit walk at Ceilings Grove, Sand Hill on Saturday. That's right. The next week we'll be back at Path Valley. Might even travel a little bit. I'm not sure. I got to discuss that with Freddie. He's the driver. Okay? He gets us from A to B, don't you, Freddie? Yep. That's exactly right. Now, I know y'all been waiting on this. I've been waiting on it. It's been a long time coming. You know what I'm saying? I had this fellow on the show several years ago. That's exactly right. When we had two tin cans and a string, okay? And reception wasn't the best. I got to be honest. And, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Some funny stories with that.
With paint cans.
Yeah, we did. We used paint cans to prop the phone up. Exactly right, because the tripod fell. And, well, I'll get to that here in a little bit. That's for another time. But no, this fella's been on, so it's dear to me because he supported me from day one and coming on the show. He's a Hall of Famer, ladies and gentlemen. He hails from Greencastle, Pennsylvania now. He's still in the business. 50 years still in the business. So without further ado, I'm going to be quiet and get him up on stage. Let's give a big round for Gary STUHLER. Freddie's on the ball. Now, I usually prop my feet up like this, STUHLER. You're allowed to do that. Trust me. You're a guest. You you do what you want, STUHLER. I got to be on. How you doing?
We got microphones now, don't we?
Yeah. The last time we were using them Fisher Price deals. You know what I'm saying? And, I remember a couple. You just got to keep her right about there, STUHLER. Right about there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Did you want something to drink?
No.
Okay. I forgot to get mine. I'm going to get mine. You know what I mean? Yeah, we got it all here. Last time we were over in the little side, STUHLER. And we've moved up. The chairs.
We're in the big studio now.
This is Studio 02. You like that, Studio?
What a crowd.
It is a good crowd. I know. It is a good crowd. Fast Freddy's keeping everybody tuned up in there, the whole 9 yards. I tell you, STUHLER, man, I thought, I got to get this guy on here. You know what I'm saying? I threw a text out there for you, and I crossed my fingers. You know what I mean? I was like, come on, STUHLER. And you said, I'm en route. I'm en route to El Dur, right? You were en route to El Dur when I texted you. And you said, I think it'll be a go. And I was like, man, I hope it's a go like that. But here you are, Gary.
We're all good. We made it.
Yeah, that's right. We made it. And, I think it's been literally probably over 2 years since you've been on the show, Gary.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because when we did that show, we were pretty in our infancy then,
That was one of the first shows, wasn't
it? It was. And I tell you what happened is my big foot that time kicked over the tripod with the phone. And I sat there like I was going to cry, you know what I mean? Because everybody was looking at concrete because that's the way the phone was looking. And you looked over at me, and I quote you, STUHLER. I'm going to just quote you right here on national television, you know what I'm saying? You said, do you think you guys would have practiced that a little bit before we did the show? And Freddie said, I think we probably should have. But we got all them bugs working.
He's got all the high-tech stuff
Look
right
at him.
now.
I know,
Yeah.
Look at him. This guy's tuned in. Fred, are we going in okay? Is everything good? He ain't even heard us. Look. We're good. Mark the Shark says we're good. Freddie's, look, he wears them headphones.
Fred done fell asleep on us, I think.
Yeah, I think he did. So, Stuhler, what have you been up to? Obviously, this year's 50 years in the business. Holy cow. You know, if you look back 50 years, let's look back 49 years, Stuhler. 49 years, did you ever think, I'll be in this business 50 years?
No, not really. I mean, like when I first got into it, it just, you know, I really didn't think, you know, when I first got into it, I started Williams Grove, and I was pretty nervous, pretty scared most of the time, because back in the day, that was Ed Spencer days, you know, Ronnie McBee, Jimmy McBee, Denny Bonebreak. I mean, there was a lot of Larry Gorman. There was a lot of good cars that ran the Grove weekly, and I went up there. I was like a fish out of water, you know. I was pretty nervous, but we got through the first week and went to Lincoln the second week and got in a crash, and then lo and behold, we came back the third week to Lincoln and ended up winning the race somehow. You know, beat Bonebreak and Ronnie McBee. I mean, it was kind of a surprise, and then
Right.
it just, you know, it just went from there. And like I say, I ended up driving for Butch Douglas in a 21 car. He put a second car together when he was building a new car for himself, and ran for him for a couple of years and learned a lot with him. I mean, he was great to race for. And then the next big thing, I ended up finding a ride in Bobby Allen's car. He showed up at Hagerstown one night and didn't have a driver, and I don't remember how it all took place, but I think Allen kind of got me, talked to Bobby and got me in that seat, and I thought it was just going to be a one-time deal, and drove it that night, and then Bobby said, you know, why don't you drive for me for a little bit, and it just took off from there.
Yeah, I tell you, obviously the iconic Bobby Allen, the 55, you know, I got some pictures up there, some great ones of you, you know, standing there by the 55. And, man, the caliber of people you've obviously been able to drive for. I know for myself as a young man what I remember at Gary's store, because I'm a little younger, you know, and as I remember that Speedy Hayes machine, you know. And, man, everybody wanted that iconic 44 to watch you come race all the time because you were a threat wherever you ran that car.
Yeah, driving for Speedy, I mean, he was probably one of the smartest guys was ever around racing. And like I say, I drove for Bobby. Bobby got me out. We ran that NDRA thing for, you know, a little over a year or so, and got to travel and do a lot of racing at you know, Odessa, Missouri. A lot of great place, you know, down at places in Charlotte, and I mean, we went all over the place. We Portsmouth and Southern Ohio, out in, you know, out in that area. But that kind of got my name out there a little bit.
Sure. And, you know, we were looking there, you know, and we always laugh at some of these pictures. This cracks me up. When you look at, like, Bobby Allen's hauler, you look at Speedy's hauler, and there's 15 tire racks on them things. Yeah. And there's about 47 tires hanging up there. How times have changed, haven't they?
When I went to drive for Speedy, he had an old blue Chevy van. Okay. That's what we towed the race car with. And he always, like, we went to Pittsburgh and won a big race at Pittsburgh and actually lapped pretty much the whole field other than like Jack Boggs, I think, finished second, Purvis third or something. But we ended up winning a really big race at Pittsburgh, and Speedy said, I ought to bring the van out here on the front straightaway. He said, so people can see how we came to this deal. But he used to always tell me that tow truck don't win races.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, Speedy always seemed, obviously I didn't know Speedy. Speedy always seemed, from what I heard, a down-to-earth kind of fellow.
He was. He was kind of one of the coolest guys to hang around with at the shop. Never had any kids, but he was one of them type people that could kind of lead you and tell you what was the right thing to do for your kids and stuff. He was just a great guy all around.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, and you know, and obviously, you know, we look at the list goes on and on of people you drove for, and we'll fast forward to now, to right here, we sit here right now. You know, man, you've did a lot of things this year. Like, for instance, we were up at Path Valley, right? It would run it, and somebody said, Gary Stuhler's out there, and I said, oh, is he here to what? You know what I mean? I didn't think, no, he's unloading a race car like that. That was a first, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had been wanting to go there for years, but it seemed like every time those races came, I had something going on where we had a motor issue, a motor out, or, you know, like I broke a rear end at Hagerstown one time, and I was in the process of getting the rear put back together. It just always seemed like that midweek show, I was in the process of trying to get something that I got tore up or fixed, and then I just, this year, that was one of my goals. If I got a car together and, you know, we're capable of going to that race without a whole lot of problem, I'm going to try to go. And it was fun. I mean, I didn't qualify good. I went out late qualifying and kind of got behind qualifying, but I thought I raced pretty good. You know, I come up through there pretty decent, but it was fun. I mean, I would love to go back. I mean, I'm looking forward to see, you know, if they run any other kind of race there next year. I hope to make it.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, you were up on the wheel, Stuhler. There was no doubt about it, buddy. You were moving around there.
Yeah, I mean, like I was a little nervous. I mean, I've seen some cars tore up there, and I mean, it's not it's just the quality, you know, just what happens at that place because it's small, and it's pretty tough to race on. But we actually got through there the whole night without not a mark. We got unscathed the whole night, so it was I mean, we finished half decent. We got in the top 10, I think, eighth or something like that.
Sure.
But,
yeah, so you put together a decent night. Obviously, the first time around, you couldn't complain there. And we were talking the other day. You know, I do a lot for East Coast Legends and stuff. And we were talking. I remember the time we were talking about when you ran that Legends car. That was at Lincoln, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. We couldn't remember. We thought it was at Lincoln.
Yeah, it was a little different. I mean, I went out there, and to me, I don't know. I just felt like I was in the gas wide open and wasn't going nowhere. But I mean, them guys get around with them things. But I think if I drove them a little bit and got used to what you need to do as far as shifting wise and all that. Yeah. But it was fun. I mean, Bob gave me the opportunity. Bob Freese gave me the opportunity to do it, and it was something I'd never done before, so it was cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at also some other bucket list things this year, or just you wanted to do this year. You were out of Lernerville, okay? And we were just talking about that before. You were kind of low on hands out there. It was all on deck, you know?
Yeah, I kind of went out there. The one crew guy that's with me, you know, most of the time, he was going on a camping trip, and the other guy, he usually doesn't go away when we go on a 2-day deal, and it ended up being Brandon, my son, and myself, my wife, and Jimmy Lescalite that does my Facebook page. He went along, and Emily Strait went with us.
Yeah.
It was maybe
She's
4
my
or 5.
number one fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. She's my number one fan of Path Valley.
But you know, I mean, there was 55 cars there. It was a Lucas race.
Yeah.
And, just by luck, we ended up getting in the race by the B main.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then obviously, you just come back from Eldora, you know, the World 100. I knew you wanted to make it, but man, you were right there, Stuhler. I mean, that's the best of the best out there.
Yeah, I mean, we went out with, you know, I was kind of hoping to, you know, run better than I did. I'm not happy with our performance, but you know, I told people when we hot lapped on Thursday night, they dropped the green. We got one hot lap, and they threw the checkered. And then I came in, they's like, well, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know. You know, I made one lap, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, then you're right back in line to take a 2-lap time trial. So,
yeah.
And we didn't qualify the greatest, but the first night I thought we raced pretty good and got up through there and missed it by one. Like Dustin Jarrett said all year, I've either been a +1 or -1.
Right.
I get in right at the end of a B main or I miss it by one spot. So I was happy, but then as the weekend went on, it was nobody's fault. We were just trying to get speed, and the more we tried, the worse we got. And then come Saturday, I was just I was no good at all.
I got you. You know, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you just tuned in, I'm Tommy Gradell. We're here at the House of Dirt, Elbows Up Dirt Productions. We have Gary Stuhler beside us. He's flanked to my right, and we're having a great discussion here. And you guys, Mark, what do you have? I'm sure you got some people. It's phoned in.
Just got a few hellos from Robert McQuaid and Steve Yeager,
How you doing?
Brandon Smith,
Okay.
Vicky and Roger Traxler, and Craig Klein said, make sure we tell Gary that Mac Daddy has the quick time down at Bulls Gap.
You said that Craig Klein would keep us informed.
He'll keep me up to date about what's
Mac
going on.
Daddy's got the fast time. That's all we know so far.
Okay, there you have it. Mac Daddy. And obviously he's referred to where they go ahead, tell them where they're racing that Stuhler. You tell them.
Yeah, down there at Volunteer, they got the Scott Bloomquist Memorial race tonight. So.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, switching back to out there, you know, Gary, I can remember when I was a young man, and it was the $1 million race, okay? And correct me if I'm wrong, but DJ was ailed with a broken collarbone, I believe. And you drove the 70J out there that year. That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, that's been, geez, hold on, that's been a while.
Oh, it's been back in early 2000s.
Yeah.
I was driving for Ernie at the time.
Yeah, and I believe qualifying went into the wee hours of the morning, like 2-3 in the morning. It was a different
Yeah, that was
sport.
back in the day when, you know, they get 200 and some cars.
Yeah, exactly. You know, your best finish, Mark, I think you've pointed out, at Eldora was third, correct? Mm-hmm. You've ran a third in the world, correct? Okay, and that was probably when, Mark?
88 or 89.
89, I think.
Okay.
2 laps down.
But it didn't matter. You ran third.
That's one of Brandon's. He gets on me every time we talk. I told Brandon, I said, I came pretty close to winning the World 100. I finished third, and he always looks at me and laughs. He said, "Yeah, but you were 2 laps down." But Donnie Moran lapped the whole field. Even Freddie Smith finished second.
Okay.
And was 2 laps down too. Mm-hmm. Scott Bloomquist blew a left front tire.
Okay.
With 2 to go and was sitting on the back straightaway, stopped, and they never threw the yellow.
Oh, really? Okay.
He was on the inside of the racetrack, and he finished 4th 3 laps down.
Okay, there you go. Freddie, he lights up when he hears Freddie Smith. That was Fred's. He loved Freddie Smith. He's a Freddie. Look at it. He loves Freddie Smith. Loved him. God bless Freddie Smith, the son of a gentleman. You've raced obviously a fair amount with Freddie Smith over the years, like that. Man, I tell you what, you know, you look at your car this year. It's a beautiful car. There, I think it's one of the beautiful, prettiest cars there's been. You know, and you see did I say it? Langenfelter?
Langenfelder.
Yeah, Langenfelder.
Mr. Mark Langenfelder.
Okay, and he's obviously played a pivotal role with the team this year.
We got together a couple of years ago just as a part-time sponsor. I had called him, Bob Hines and Robbie Kendall were getting out of racing, and Bob and Mark were real good friends, and Bob said, why don't you give him a call? You know, he may help you out. So I was all nervous about calling him, and I finally got a hold of him. And when we first started talking, he knew all about me. Like he was like from the days of going to Lincoln and Susquehanna, and I really didn't have to say
a whole lot.
Sell myself, you know, because he knew all about me, and we talked a little bit about a partial sponsorship, and he come on board, and then through the year, my current car owner at that time, Charlie Phillips, and his wife Drew had owned the car. Charlie had started to get some health problems, and he was getting in pretty bad shape, and he ended up unfortunately passing away. And when he passed away, Mr. Langenfelder said, what do you think is going to happen? I'm like, I'm not really sure. I said, I had talked to her in the winter, and I said, you know, do you want to try to go one more year or whatever? And she was getting, and I don't blame her. I mean, she's up in age, and Charlie, she loved the racing, but it was more Charlie's
passion, per se. Yeah.
And so anyway, Mark said, would she be interested in selling the stuff? And I said, well, I can ask her, and she got a price together, and he said, I'll write a check, and we'll go from there. So he ended up buying car, motor, trailer. I mean, he bought the whole shebang. And then at the end, they let me use the truck and trailer for a year, and then at the end of that year, they decided they wanted to sell that. We ended up buying the trailer from them, but the truck we let go, you know, and he ended up buying us a Chevy dually to pull with. But
yeah, I remember the big. Well, matter of fact, Gary, you attended my first car show. Remember that one? It was like 8 degrees out. Yeah, and I remember sitting in that hole.
You always get me in predicaments, don't you?
I do. We had an ice cream truck there. We were laughing about that the other day. We had an ice cream truck that day. They didn't sell anything.
8 degrees.
Yeah, it was literally like 15, 20 degrees. I'll never forget that. Lo and behold, store, he didn't let me hang. You know what I'm saying? He rolled right in there. Mikey was with you, I think, the whole 9 yards. Fred, are we good on sound? Okay, Freddie says it's good. It's good. He
Not to bring up anything bad, but I think he tore the basketball pole down there.
Yeah.
Come on, Tommy, tell him about it.
Yeah, it did. I got to be honest. That was, I was going to tell him, Fred. It's let bygones be bygones, right? So I had my trailer there. I always wanted a closed trailer, and I finally got one. You know what I mean? And I got out of the car. I was nervous anyway because it was blowing snow, and it was literally like 23 degrees. And Fred backed the trailer in, and I think the basketball. Well, you could have shot a basket inside the trailer because it was through the inside of the trailer. And I just walked away. That's what I did that day. I just walked away. That's what they said. But yeah, Freddie, we love you. Freddie, that was Freddie's deal, right?
When I fixed her, though, you couldn't tell she was.
You did, Freddie. You fiberglassed her up and everything. Yeah, and I was fit to be tied that day. Well, what a day it was. What a day it was. You know, I still have a spoiler, a piece of spoiler signed. Everybody signed that day, and you're on there. All the kids that come to that and everything. You know, it was a good day. Well, I tell you what, Gary. You know, obviously you've made a career. You've made a life of racing, okay? And you're retired now, correct?
I'm a full-time racer.
Right. You are.
I'm a full-time racer now.
Yeah. So, what all you do, Gary? Now that you're retired, tell me. I want to hear. What all you do?
Yeah, I mean, I keep up on. I got some elderly neighbors next door. I take care of their property and take care of my own. And you know that at the beginning of the year when the grass is going, that's like a two times a week deal on their property, my property, and just keeping up on, you know, just stuff around the house. And then in between that, a couple days, Tuesday, Thursdays, or whatever, I'm down the shop working on a race car.
Okay.
Or, you know, and like we usually wash Monday. That's our wash day. And then we get everything cleaned up, and then, like I say, Tuesday's kind of we get started on stuff, and then Thursday we kind of finish up. So I'm 3 nights a week down the race car shop.
Yeah, okay, well, no, that's good. And obviously, you were retired from Washington County, okay? And we have some, obviously, the stories with JJ. We'll let them go with the school bus. They're classic. Scrub Eckert and I, we're talking about that a couple weeks ago up at Saley's Grove. Everybody had a real good laugh on it. Yeah, what do you got, Mark?
I got Danny McSherry saying, keep the bean soup contained.
Yeah, I see Danny ACT. We eat bean soup. That's exactly right.
And Ron Trout and Steve Yeager said they remember the car show.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it's just bitter cold. I pick good times for stuff. Ask Fuller, he'll tell you. My timing is impeccable all the time. You know what I'm saying? Man. What you got?
You ready for Mark?
Yeah, I tell you what. Mark, go ahead. This is Mark's thing. You'll like this. Here we go. It's Mark the Sharks Weekly Bite. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is good stuff.
All right, well, I don't know how good it'll be.
Yeah. Mark the Shark Weekly Bite. Mark's always got good information. I'm telling you, he'll bedazzle you.
Our last show we talked about 1985. This week we're going back a decade to 1975 when Gary started racing 50 years ago, of course. I'm assuming that a lot of our viewers tonight weren't even born yet.
There you go.
But put a little things in perspective of how long ago that was. Gas prices were around 57 cents. You could get a house for about $39,000. Richard Petty was winning NASCAR. A.J. Foyt was ruling Indy cars. People were singing the Rhinestone Cowboy, watching All in the Family, and people were getting scared at the theaters. But my personal favorite movie, Jaws.
That's right. Jaws. That's exactly right. Did you go to the theater and watch that still there?
That's one of Kyle's favorite movies too.
Is it? Okay.
But we're here to talk racing. And back then, 75, Hagerstown Speedway champion was Buddy Armel. But who was the limited late model champion in 1975?
I will know.
He's very important in our racing area around here now. Roy Anderson.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Roy Anderson.
how about the Winchester champ?
Super late model.
Yeah.
This guy right here.
No, 75, he just started.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know where you were. See, I don't know my age.
Yeah, 1975.
Okay.
Sam Nally.
Okay.
I was going to say Sam.
And Gary alluded to this earlier. He won on his third start, and the wins would keep piling up over the years. And he was a winner in 6 decades. Won track championships in 4 decades, including Hagerstown, Winchester, and Cumberland. Won over 350 races, including tracks like Hagerstown, where he's the all-time leader, as well as the all-time leader at Cumberland. Has over 75 wins at Winchester, almost 30 at Bedford. Plus, he's won at Lincoln, Williams Grove, Port Royal, Potomac, Sealands Grove, Susquehanna, which is BAPS, Trailways, Delaware, Dorsey, Challenger, I-79, West Virginia Motor Speedway, which I've seen on, I think it was Cal McFadden's that you won both twin 30s with a lot of stiff competition that came down from Eldora.
Okay.
Pittsburgh, is that the Pittsburgh 100? Muskegum, Portsmouth, East Bay, and I'm sure more that I couldn't find any information on.
How many Winchester 200s? 9?
9.
9. Okay.
10.
10. Okay.
The guy's right here, Mark. You can't.
I think it's 10.
Well, on their website, I counted 9, but then I read where it's 10.
One of them was a twin 50s.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
And they ended up, I think they just counted that as 1. But
Oh.
I don't know. I thought they always said 10.
We'll go with 10.
With the Max, you remember the Max Series?
Yes.
13-time winner there. Won the very first one, I believe, in 1989 at Hagerstown. He's also won an Appalachian Speed Week race, an All-Star Circuit of Champions race, World of Outlaw late model race, have a Tampa race.
Oh, you're going to have a Tampa.
But the best of all was Stars. Tied for 5th all time with Chubb Zilla, Chubb Frank, and Jack Boggs. But the 4 ahead of him were Donnie Moran, Davey Johnson, Larry Moore, and Mike Balzano. And he did most of this while never running the full series in too many seasons, if any.
And correct me if I'm, that was the 19 car. Obviously, it was the Stars. A lot of the Stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
They keep saying I haven't won a race at Port Royal. They keep announcing that.
You haven't, or you did?
I've won 2 at Port Royal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And they keep saying
Yeah,
that.
I had Port Royal as a win.
One of them was a Max race, and then I won one in Glenn Elliott's car when I drove for him. But they keep announcing up there when I'm running decent. He's going after his first.
Tell
win.
him.
He's never
Tell
won a
him.
race at Port Royal.
We're gonna have to set that straight.
Tell them to do some research.
Yeah, we'll set that straight. Stoll, you take care of that this
Well,
week.
one little sidebar. I don't know. Gary, I'm sure knows. Maybe you do, Tommy. What's Chubb Frank's real name?
Dwayne. I thought it was what is it?
Jerry.
Really?
I'm pretty sure it's Jerry.
Boy, I don't know. I might bet the farm on that.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know. I thought it was Dwayne. Boy, I don't know, Stoll. Okay,
We'll
put
look
that
that
out
up
there.
later. I'll look it up when I get off
Okay, you
here.
look that up. I could be wrong, but I thought it was Dwayne Chubb Frank. I could be wrong.
And to show how dominant he was local with stars, at Hagerstown, I got you raced 44 races, but you won 11, which is 25% of the stars races you competed at Hagerstown. And in Winchester, you were even better with 14 races and 6 wins with 43%. It's almost 50%.
Yeah,
You know, when they
half
come,
the time, yeah.
they come around here, they have to deal with old Gary.
Well, how many Konica Jig 100s were there?
I'm getting to that.
Okay, I knew.
And a few more tidbits here. He's won the Paul Johnson Memorial 7 times, 5 in a row. I said the Winchester 200 should be named the Gary Stuhler 200.
Right? 10-time winner.
10-time winner.
10 times Stoll.
And the next highest was 3, you know. And then Hagerstown, the Konica Jig 100, I got 6 times, 4 in a row. Oktoberfest 5, Hub City 3, Johnny Roberts 6, Stanley Sheetram 6, where he won 5 in a row there. And with all that and these many more achievements, elected to the National Dirt Track Hall of Fame in 2008, were very well deserved.
Yes, for sure. For sure. That was on the front of, remember with Stock Car Racing? That was made the front of the magazine. I have that. Hang it up. That's exactly right. Yours truly signed it for me. What you
Also-
got, Freddie?
According to Everything Dirt Facebook page, Chubb Frank's name is Franklin Lloyd.
We weren't even
Oh, I wasn't even close. I was Dwayne. I'm not talking about Dwayne. Okay, is that good, Stall?
Yeah, I'm good.
I tell you, he's full. This is the guy cuts hair for a living. You know what I'm saying? So when
Days
Nick,
like this where I was slow,
Yeah.
I'd look things up.
yeah, he did my stats one year. It took him about 18 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Well, you crashed here, then you crashed there, then you crashed there. Thank you, Mark. That's
Yep.
Mark the Shark, ladies and gentlemen. His weekly bite, always bringing the good stats to us here for our guest on our show. Man, Gary, I tell you what, that's a whole mouthful Stoll went through there. We could talk for hours on that, you know? And once again, if we rewind back 49 years ago to a young man in a 21A, the number 1, okay, those iconic photos that we see the pictures of right there, that's where it all began, you know? And man, to at that time, obviously, like you said, am I going to do this for a living, you know? And here you are, and now you're racing full time.
Most of it's been a blur. Like I said, it's like I look back. Usually, if Alan's at the house or him and I are together, he can remember races. He's like, he'll talk about something. He'll say, "Remember when you passed so and so with 2 to go?" And I'm like, "Not really," because I honestly don't remember.
Right.
Probably 90% of the races I raced in. I remember the ones that I lost, big ones that I lost that I was wishing that I could have won. Like, I run second to Donnie Moran at the dirt track. And I was on him, and and I look back and I'm like, man, I wish I could have just won that. And then the Pittsburgher, I led the first 50 laps at the Pittsburgher, and they watered the track at the fuel stop, and I didn't realize the top had gotten as good as it did, and I think it was Matt Urban passed me and got the lead, and I felt like I could run with him and get back to him, like I was getting better, and I ended up somebody got into me and blew my left rear tire, and
Okay.
we had to come in and change that. But, I just wish there was races like the dirt track, the Pittsburgher.
Yeah.
I was running second to Todd Andrews in the Hillbilly race, and we took off on a restart, and he lost fuel pressure, and I checked up for him, and I got run into in the back and got turned around on the front straightaway, and it was like one of those deals like if I'd have missed him,
Yeah.
I probably would have won the Hillbilly race.
Right.
And they're the it's like 3 or 4 of those races.
Yeah.
They're the ones I remember. that I
Right.
How
wish
about
I
the 1998 51st anniversary Stars race? I read where you went to the back twice,
Yeah.
come up and still won
came
the
back
Stars
on that,
race.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
you were pretty dominant that year with everything.
Yeah, and then they had that. I think it was a 50,000 to win at Hagerstown.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Donnie Moran and I started on the front row, and we got through 1 and 2. And I had back in the day, I had a 70 on the right rear because I guess it was a 100-lapper.
Yeah, that was.
And it was almost like if I could have just beat him off at 2 and got down into 3 ahead of him, I'd have won the race because he had like a 55 on. And as the race went on, he kept getting slower, and I was all over him, but the racetrack rubbered up. And I think back now, like say, I was just too nice. I should have moved him, what I mean, for 50 grand or
For
whatever
50
it paid.
grand, right? But that wasn't your style.
Yeah, I should have just moved him, and
Mr. Smooth, Mr. Clean.
Yeah, right, exactly. And you talk about, let's look at the racing. You and I have talked about this before. The way you raced, obviously, these long races back in the 90s, early 2000s, it seems like it's all out the window nowadays. No, it's just up on it.
Yeah, it's wide open. I mean, like you, like in Port Royal deals the other week at that Lucas race. I mean, you get down into one, you better be in the gas, and somebody's going to run. Like they laugh at me about starting on the outside, but normally, like at the port, like if I get the one on the outside, somebody on the bottom is going to run over me. It's like one of the deals. They just don't care anymore. I mean, they're not going to give you that lane up top. They're going to come across your nose. They're going to get into your left side. I always starting on the bottom where I can kind of control what's going to happen when I get to one. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but 99% of the time when I start on the outside, I end up losing 2 or 3 spots before I get off at 2 because somebody's done moved me. But that's just how racing is anymore. Everybody is. You used to be able to start these races, 50 lap, 100 lap. You kind of sit back, ride, and pick your. Now it's like first lap, get in the gas, and you don't get out of the gas till they throw the checker to 50 laps.
Tyler Herb.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, watching you over the years, you're exactly right. The feet, the smooth, the feet. Yeah. And you were a master at that, Gary. And you'd follow somebody. You're exactly right. And then you'd start to pour it on. But you're right. Nowadays, it's wide open right off the get-go.
Yeah, it's hard. And your car's just got to be, capable of doing that. And if it's not, and people don't realize just minute changes on the cars, 16th inch backers in the right front, or you don't put a right bar down, or you do something. It's just a small little deal. You can go out there, and if you miss it, you're just off.
Yeah. And now, obviously, you're in a Longhorn, correct? Okay. And now you've been through, and let's just look at chassis-wise. You've been in a Masterbuilt. You've been in a Bullet.
No.
Okay. You've been in a.
I drove a Hal car for Bobby Allen.
Okay. You've been in a We said a Rocket like that.
And now for a lot of years.
Yep. And that was what Glenn's stuff. That was a Rocket.
That was Rocket stuff.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Glenn a minute right there. That was a good ride there, wasn't it?
Yeah. Glenn was a lot of fun to race with. That kind of started out as a kind of a part-time deal. I think at the time he had a GRT car or something. I started driving for him, and I'm not sure. Say I lose track on races. I think I won the Have a Tampa race in his car.
Okay.
Somebody might correct me on that, but I think that's who I won that Have a Tampa race.
show with.
Have a Tampa was 2000.
Yeah.
What was it?
Hagerstown.
Oh, that was the Hagerstown show?
Yeah.
Okay, it was Have a Tampa.
2000, but I don't know what you ran.
Yeah.
I think that was when I started driving for Glenn, maybe.
Okay. And like I said, that run there went for quite a while. You guys had a lot of success in that car. And I think another individuals that you've been close with a lot of years is Ernie and Connie.
Yeah.
And they've been in your corner.
They still help me out and sponsor me today. They don't have to. They've been great people to me. And I drove for Ernie there a couple of years, and we had a little bit of success. It didn't last the longest, but.
Yeah.
We've always been friends. We had a little when the split happened. How racing stuff goes.
Yeah, sure.
But, we still at different times. We've gone out to eat with them here. Not recently, but we try to. My wife and Connie talk a good bit, and Ernie, he's always on the go. You can't catch up with him.
Yeah.
He's just a workaholic. But that's how. That's how Ernie is. He loves to work and. He knows how to make a lot of money doing it. So.
Yeah, right. He's done well. He has. He's done well for sure.
And he's at the age. He could kick back and, and just kind of do whatever he wants. But he just, I think he's helping that Cochran out with them sales and stuff right now. And,
Yeah.
you know, Connie says he's traveling around. You know, he's always on the go.
He's always on the move. Well, I keeps him spry, you know. I keep things spry moving. You know, look at some of the other cars, obviously. You know, we talked about Speedy. We talked about Glenn. And well, here, he mentioned Cumberland. You know, Cumberland, I think you liked Cumberland back in the day. You won a lot of races.
They had a deal where they ran Friday nights regularly and Hagerstown ran Saturday regularly. And that was our kind of to go to. I mean, we went every Friday night to Cumberland, every Saturday night to Lincoln. Or Hagerstown.
Hagerstown, yeah. Cumberland, you've done well there. You liked it there. I tell you, obviously, I believe they're under Maryland Mountain Ventures now.
Yeah.
They try to do some things right there, but the Cumberland, I can remember like the Big Kahuna.
Yeah.
You know, that was a huge show down there.
Yeah, when Bob Southey was involved in that and took that over, and even before Bob, I mean, that place was a lot of fun to race on. I mean, it was a great place.
Well,
you know, beautiful.
Ron Trout says nobody could beat Gary into the first turn in Cumberland, especially in the 90 car.
Yeah, we were pretty fortunate up there, and then they had that Rick Jones, I guess it was, and Hagerstown put that deal on where if you won both championships in the same year, they had a $25,000 bonus.
Right.
And we were fortunate enough to do, you know, to get that deal.
To get both. Right. So, Gary, when you look back at all this racing, you think, man, the people you drove, the people you've met, hundreds, thousands of people over the years. I'm sure fans, some of them, you've known for years. It's followed you the whole way through. You know, what are some of, who do you think, who was a big influencer to you, Gary, right from the get-go?
Back when I was younger, I mean, I hung around with Steve Smith, the sprint car driver, a lot. I mean, I would go to his shop a lot through the week. And even though it was sprint cars, him and I would talk. Racing. I would try to, like, get stuff in our late model deal that he would say worked on their sprint car deal. As far as right rear weight, left rear weight, and all that stuff. And I went to Kenny Well. Kenny Well was helped me a lot when I first started. Different problems I had with rear ends, he fixed for me. I bought tires off of Kenny Well, and they were like the first two. But getting with Speedy was a great deal. I mean, like I said, he was so smart about I could just come in and say, I'm loose here, tight here, and he would fix it. He knew what to do. And then when I got with Dale, Dale had Huey, which he was good. Robbie Allen, that's with Greg Satterley right now. Those two, they kind of worked together, and then Huey ended up leaving, I think, and went with Rick for a while, and I still have Robbie. But I won a lot of races with them too because they were pretty intelligent, and they still are. I mean, like Robbie's still he's winning with Greg a good bit. Yeah. I mean, that's all they've done all their lives.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. That's all they've done all their lives. I mean, they've gotten great at it. And Robbie's success speaks for itself, and Huey speaks for itself, and things like that. I guess you've seen probably. Is there a new master built out that's getting ready?
I've seen some little things on Facebook where Tater's putting some stuff, putting something together. And they had, I guess, old man O'Neill out at Brownstown or something must have won a race there. I mean, Tater's no dummy. I mean, they just kind of got behind, and some of them deals it's hard to get. They got to get other drivers involved, and I think Tater and them just got a little behind. Him and Keith went his separate way, so Tater's kind of carrying the whole deal himself. So I really don't know exactly what's going on there, but Tater's always been a great guy. I mean, I still get along good with him, and I see where I see a lot of stuff on TikTok where they're showing frames they're building and cars they're building. So hopefully, get back on track.
Yeah, I tell you, speaking just in Greencastle, we talked about Mars is building this TRW chassis race car. Let's talk about the Marses. Tom, a lot of history there. You know Tommy Myers a long time, Tex Myers a long time. Yeah,
I mean, I've raced with Tom and DJ both. I mean, it's just like I say, the fortunate thing with me when I got started, I got to race with. I look back and I think I got to race with a lot of great. Like I say at the beginning there, it was, Larry Gorman, Sam, Buddy Armold, Danny Bonebrake, Ronnie McBee. They were like the class in this area. I mean, like this area had really good competition, and I was fortunate enough to do that. And then when I got with Bobby, I also got to do that deal to travel around and got to race with Larry Moore, Buck Simmons, Rodney Combs, Jeff Purvis. I mean, I ran that whole year pretty much that NDRA deal, and just got to race with, like I say, a lot of
Yeah.
Kenny Schrader was there. I mean,
Okay.
it was a cool deal.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that, obviously, and you're right. There was a lot going on. And it's not that there isn't a lot going on now, but boy, back then, it was just,
I mean,
it
back
was
then,
everywhere.
we didn't have the streaming stuff going on, but like, Robert Smalley was a showman. I mean, when he came to town, I mean, he was kind of like the Elvis of dirt racing, and he knew how to. I mean, he brought in some good sponsors,
Yeah.
the Strohs and different stuff, and like I say, back in the day, them races were paying pretty good.
That was good money.
I mean, I mean, they were paying $50,000 to win, $20,000 to win. That was back in I don't know. I guess that was back in the 80s.
The 80s, yeah.
Early 80s.
Yeah, because NDRT, the Strohs was a sponsor I remember
Yeah.
seeing for years on that, like that. Wow. Mark, what do you got?
I don't have much right now.
No, see, it's slow. The little wheels continue
Yeah.
to turn right there.
No, I'm always thinking.
Yeah, Mark, he's always thinking. He's a status. They got cuts hair. Look what he does to my hair.
Yeah.
Gary, if you need a haircut, I recommend you go to Stahl. He'll make
But I
it
was just agreeing with when you first started. It was almost like they talk about the Pennsylvania posse around here. I mean, when any big, whether it's NDRA or whoever came, I mean, there was some stiff competition that ran right here.
Yeah.
And we didn't, we were fortunate enough to grow up and see it.
Yeah, I think that people, a lot of the younger people don't realize that, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And when I can remember vaguely when I was a young man, like I said, your Rodney Combs, your Jeff Purvis, and those fellas like that, even Jeff Robinson. I mean,
A funny thing happened to me when I first started at the Grove. I don't know what week it was. It was within the first month probably. I was supposed to start on the pole at the Grove, and I didn't have a truck. I had the race car and the trailer is all I owned, and I had a friend of mine that was towing me with his Ford pickup,
Right.
and I went to the Grove and I was supposed to start on the pole, and I told them, I said, I'm not doing it. And they're like, what? I was like, ain't no way I'm starting in front of Larry Gorman and Danny Bonebreak and all these
Right.
guys, I said, I'll go to the tail, because I need to learn it. And, well, this guy got mad. He said, well, if you're going to do that, I'm not towing you the race. I'm not doing this anymore. So he stopped. Well, we were like, what am I going to do? Well, Chuck Talbert lived across the street from me, and back in the day, Chuck ran like the old coupes, like in the 60s with Ray Cable and, back with Bobby Abel and back.
Yeah.
Well, he lived right across the street from me.
Okay.
Well, he had a Datsun pickup.
Okay.
And he said, I'll just tow it with my pickup. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And there's pictures still out there
Yeah.
of this Datsun pickup. Well, he towed me for a couple of weeks to Lincoln, which wasn't a far tow from Reisterstown. Well, I decided I was going to go to the Winchester 200.
Really?
And him and my dad took that Datsun pickup and towed my car. My dad said when they got down there at Harper's Ferry and they was going up that one hill, my dad said, I thought we was going to have to unload the race car and drive the car to the top of the hill. But anyway, when we pulled in at Winchester, of course, everybody's snickering and pointing and laughing and all that stuff. Well, where we parked, there was probably, whatever cars were around us. We made the Winchester 200, and there was a whole handful. And Chuck said, look, they all ain't laughing now. We're in the show, and they didn't make it. So,
Exactly. They're loading up.
but yeah, that was a conversation piece that, and like I still have a picture of it at the house in one of my books, but it was out there for a little bit on
I thought so.
it may even be on on the Gary Store dirt thing or whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was. I think I seen it. That's classic. You're
Yeah.
exactly right. The old Datsun pickup. Man, I'm going to tell you, that's good stuff, Stuhler. I like it. So,
I still think I was going to say, I still think the 21A is the best late model ever. That was a Maverick, wasn't it? Or yeah.
They just had that at the Old Timers thing at Williams Grove.
Oh, really?
Yeah, last weekend.
did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the
They
coolest.
called me about coming up and driving it, but I told them, well, they sent a thing on my Facebook page, and Jimmy messaged him and told him that I was at Eldor.
you were out of
That's when I first remember Gary's that 21A.
Yeah,
I was just like, that car is awesome.
that was iconic stuff.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. I imagine also, if you look at Eckert, he's a little younger than you, but you had some crossover time down there in that area, Lincoln,
Yeah.
Williams Grove, Trailways.
Yeah, I mean, we ran a lot together. I mean, I remember Rick driving sprint cars. I mean, he was, and that whole family. I mean, when they came, it was a show. I mean, they brought all the sisters, and it was Junior, I mean, he was a piece of work. He was he was a
yeah.
lot of fun to be with. But,
Yeah, that's what I hear. But it was Scrub said he had to work on all of it.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So you look at 50 years, Gary. Obviously today, where we go from here? Obviously, I would be safe. I think I'm safe to say that you're in the game next year. You're back out.
I'm hoping. I mean, I think Mark's on board. I mean, we haven't even really discussed it, but I mean, we got everything in place. I mean, this winter, I mean, we may need a motor freshen, but all the other pieces are there. I mean, we might have to do a couple little things, but I'm just a little concerned about racetracks. I mean,
Yeah.
we got Hagerstown that's kind of up in the air. They don't know what they want to do.
Right.
There's rumors Port Royal is not going to run us a whole lot, so I'm kind of a little nervous about what's going to happen with the late model deal. I mean, it just, I mean, we have Sealands Grove, Winchester, all these places have kind of gone the limited and
Crates.
deal, and it's just late model. It's up in the air right now.
It is. I tell you, we talk about it all the time, and obviously, and you and I always talked about it beforehand. And it's kind of if you grade it A, B, C, D, it's about a C minus right now, all the way around. And I don't know what the answer is, obviously, in more races. I thought when that deal with Port came along 2 years ago, I thought that was strong.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, and it kind of really surprised me because we had a great field. I mean, 90% of the time you went to the Port, there was 38, sometimes 40-some cars on a weekly show. I mean, you were, I mean, it was kind of nervous to get there.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I got to be in the top 24, and there's 42 cars here. I mean, because everybody was coming from all directions. You had people coming from Pittsburgh. You had Michael Norris coming, Colton Flinner, and, Trevor from all them guys from Winchester and stuff. And I thought we had a really good deal going there. And then when the schedule came out at the beginning of this year, they kind of dropped the ball on us and kind of cut us out of a lot of, I enjoyed racing like the Weicker weekend.
Right.
And, I mean, I know a lot of them, the Tuscarora 50 weekend, we weren't the high class, but, I still thought we brought a good field of cars.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. I mean, it seems like Limited is the new super, and they're everywhere. They're everywhere, and it's kind of crazy because of the amount of money gets spent on them.
And the thing that upsets me about that, I mean, nothing against the limited guys because I love all kind of racing. I mean, I'll go, you'll see me at sprint car races, modified races. I mean, and the limited's put on. I went to Booper's dad's memorial race last year down there. Named guys all in. That was one heck of a race to watch with the 525s and Logan Robertson and all them. But the thing is, in this area, I tell people like some of the weeks, Winchester, Baps, Path Valley, Port Royal, and Hagerstown, you got 5 racetracks all running limited.
Right.
And we're sitting at home and don't have a late model race.
And don't have a place to go run.
Nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It's bonkers.
And I know, they're claiming that they can't, like Port Royal, and I don't know, I'm not, like I say, I don't know the whole gist of the whole thing.
Right.
But they're claiming they can't pay the purse, our purse and, the sprint purse at the same time or whatever. But that's where, I mean, if they're going to do this flow thing and streaming deal, I mean, I'm not against it because I think it's great for people that can't make it to the races. But,
Correct.
But if they're going to do that, then, I think flow needs to, something needs to support us so they can run, because like I said, I don't know, it just seems like they want to run limited. They've filled our void with limiteds on like the Weicker weekend.
Right.
Because they don't want to pay no money. They want to get, like the 305 sprint cars. And like I say, I've been to a ton of 305 sprint car races. But they get to travel around and go to different racetracks.
They do.
They have enough races. They can go to Lincoln. They can go to Sealands Grove or, Path Valley. I mean, like I said, our racing seems like it's just been cut out in this area.
It is. No, I 100% agree. And, when you look at it, you're exactly right with flow. I've asked the question a lot over the years, and I've never got a straight answer from anybody. What does flow currently do financially? And no one can ever answer that
Nobody's going to open up. No. And like I said, and I think, like a lot of people down it, and they say it's a bad thing, but, I got a brother that's, a little older than myself. It would take him 3.5 hours to go to Port Royal. He's not going to do that.
No.
Most of my sponsors, or from Martinsburg, Baltimore,
Right.
like Mr. Langenfelder. He watches it every
Yeah.
week. He can't make it to, it works out for so many
It has
people.
a purpose.
But the problem is you got your regulars.
Right.
And I'm as guilty of it as, like the World Outlaws will be at Williams Grove, and back when I was working, I would come home, mow grass, I'd get home 4 o'clock, mow grass, whatever, and go in and get a shower. And my wife would say, "Aren't you going to the Grove?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to watch it on TV."
Right.
And if it wasn't on Dirt Vision, I probably would have went, but
Yeah.
I'm as guilty as all the rest of them.
Yeah,
But
me too.
these streaming things, they got to do something with, like Port Royal's going to have Flow every week. They can't have half the grandstands full because people are watching on Flow.
Right.
And they're not there to eat the concessions, but
Yeah.
I just think if they would step up where they would help pay our purses, we could run.
Yeah,
And
you
like I
could
say,
do it, right.
I think the late models, and I'm not putting anything down with the limiteds or the 305s.
No, I agree.
At the port, but sometimes the port did some stuff that didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
When they would run sprint cars and say the late models, they would throw the 305s in there.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
why do we need 3 divisions? 2 would have been fine.
Right.
Or they'd have
Well,
us.
they bring
and the limit.
5305, so it pays the.
Well, right.
Yeah.
And that's what.
Yeah,
It's a numbers
And
thing.
like I saw a post where Ron Rutherford put a thing out there the other week about, how their pay is for them guys, and they're still buying tires, they're still buying
Yeah.
fuel, but I mean they're taking a real ass beating when it comes.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
what they get paid for and what.
Sure.
They just got to do it for the love of it.
For the love of racing.
A
just
lot
the
of
race.
them, because, I mean, our, all of us. I mean, we all struggle to pay our,
Yeah.
it's, when you're buying $60,000 motors and running for 4,000 to win, it's, like I talked to Billy Hicks that has the 79 car, and he kind of told me a little bit about what their pay is on the road, what they get for show-up money, and then if they finish in the top 10 in points, where they were at, I think they get like 50 grand at the end of the year.
Okay.
And then if he wins the rookie, he gets another 20 grand.
Okay.
So like he said, it's costing me a little bit to travel, but he said, like, if I went to Cherokee, and plus they get that $700 show-up money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like he said, if they go to 2 or 3 tracks, like Sharon and wherever, say like Muskegum, Sharon,
Yeah.
that's $700 each night. And then their races pay anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 to start. So they're starting out at $2,200
Right off the get-go.
right off the bat.
Yeah.
And like he said, if I go to Cherokee and race a regular show and finish 7th or 8th, I'm going to get $800. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Yeah. Do the math.
but the traveling, that's a killer.
That's the
you know
killer.
what I mean? Getting the people to help and stuff. Like he said, I'm still buying tires, I'm still buying fuel,
Right.
but
It offsets it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it offsets it better. Now, I think you got a good point. Honestly, I agree with Flo. I think it has a place. Like my parents, obviously, they're in their 80s,
Yeah,
70s.
yeah.
They sit and watch, and that's great. But I think, if you look at what it cost us to subscribe to Flo, okay, obviously they're in a money-making business because you're paying to subscribe. There has to be some kind of trickle-down, to the tracks. But like I said, no one can seem somebody has to have
they're
an
acting
answer.
like the trickle ain't enough.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't want to piss the float people off or the dirt
Well,
fishing people off.
yeah, but-
It's just like I say, there's a lot. And like I said, Mr. Langenfelder, he's a little bit younger than myself, but
Yeah.
he's in Baltimore. And like he'll
Yeah.
call me and he'll say, "Are you going to the port?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Is it on Flow? I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll be watching."
Yeah.
He's not going to drive from Baltimore.
No.
He may do it once or twice
Right,
a year,
but not routinely.
but like he's not going to. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's
So-
not feasible. Exactly right. I agree. It almost sounds like the whole deal with like Hoosier Tires. When they sponsor their track and they sponsor like the points and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you never honestly could get a straight. I've never got a straight answer on anybody on that either. Like how much do they really send down? Because my thing of it is just what you read in that auto racer once a month. Like tracks are literally going to come down to running like a special show
Yeah,
one a month.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's gonna.
And that's disheartening.
And
Yeah.
and the young people, trying to get the young people involved. I mean, like I know a lot of people, older people that I've been around through the years, they don't even go anymore.
Right.
And like I'll run into them and I'm like, "You go to the race anymore?" I may go once or twice. What I mean?
Yeah.
And then you have these younger people that it's hard getting them interested. You know, they're
Yeah, 50,000 other things.
yeah, they got so much other stuff.
But if
going
they
on.
do like it, they'll have to wait a month to get it to see it
Well,
again. They're
that's
not
the
going to
thing.
wait.
Right, exactly.
They're so impatient.
like you said, okay, I'm going to go run July 15th. I'll see you August 15th.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
well, when the schedule came out for Port at the beginning of the year, my son Brandon, you know, he looked at it and he said, "Do you realize you run once in May, once in June, and once in July?" And I'm like, "Holy crap!" You know.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, you know, Mr. Langenfelder's putting all this money
Right.
out. You know, he'd be like, "Well, what am I spending this money for when you only run 3?" And luckily, there was some fill-in races. I mean,
Yeah.
we got to go to, you know, like say the Path Valley
Yeah.
race. I mean, I tried to fill in with
Yeah.
some Sealands Grove, you
Sure.
know, there are times, you know, but
But
those-
the consistency of it going
Yeah,
to Port like
yeah.
that, it just went away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went away. Yeah, it is disheartening. I just,
and I love the Port. I mean, it's
it's a great facility.
it's a great facility.
is.
I mean, it just
100% great facility. You couldn't ask for a better facility, you know. But man, and then you think like you used to get a race or so like Lincoln,
Yeah.
you know, and a limited, even the limit, nothing happens with there anymore.
yeah.
you
And it's
know?
like we were talking. I mean, Swally was the head of Lucas was up at, walking around at Baps when I was up there the other week for the sprint car race, and I know he was just snooping, like looking at different racetracks because he told me he went to Grandview and Bridgeport. And, you know, I know he's looking for some venues to maybe do, but it's like I said, you know, and I don't know how to make the pay work, but I don't think Baps can survive on just a Lucas race, you know,
Right.
Because it's a sportsman
Yeah.
sprint car deal. I mean,
Right.
you know, they have to have their sprint cars there
Sure.
at the same time.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know, like I heard Colton was a little upset, you know, that he had lost some money when we had our Speed Week race up there the other week. But that crowd's just, you know, they're used to their sportsman cars and their limits and their hobbies. I don't even know what the class is called, you know, the
Extreme-
hobby street stocks or whatever.
Yeah.
But and they ran, you know, and I'm not even positive that they ran that Saturday night before our Speed Week race.
Right.
But people, you know, it's tough for people to go 2 nights a week. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard enough to go one.
100%.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
like I don't know, like I'm old school. I mean, it just seems like we've gone from $18 pit passes to $35 pit passes, and then 45.
Yeah.
Now we're in $55 pit passes,
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah, 100%. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean-
oh yeah, yeah. The
and like I
lowest,
say, I love racing. I mean, I love, you know, like, and nothing particular against a racetrack, but man, when you walk up that pit window and it says 55 hours to get in for a one night show, it's like holy.
yeah. Oh no, I agree because you just think a lot of people. I mean, $55 in today's economy with the way things are going. You're asking somebody to take $55.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of money.
Eckerd
Yeah.
wins the championship once the pit passes.
You know, and like I say-
then they're going to run a couple shows next year, so you won't even get to use it
Oh,
that much.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, like you know, I take Brandon along with me. You know, you're talking.
it was
You know,
$110.
$110 to walk in the gate.
Just to walk in
and
the
that's
gate.
before we even start. You know, we're spending $150 there. You know, just to watch a race for one.
Yeah,
day, you know?
exactly. You know, and I mean, seriously, you look at a lot of people in defense of the younger people. Like a lot of younger people, they aren't
Yeah.
carrying an extra $55 or $110 around.
Yeah.
You know, so it's something in the math of this whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know what's.
Right. You would wish, and I always said this, when they have that racing extravaganza at York, and they're supposed to have the promoters workshops, and no one shows up for them.
Yeah.
No one from the tracks. That's disheartening like that, because to me, everybody has to come together on it. They have to. Why not just lay it out? Seriously, lay it out. You know. But the sprint car people, I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't know what they do, but they're doing something right. You know. They got it. I get it. That's the hotbed of that area. It has been. You know, you knew that. You were down.
I mean, like Hagerstown, you know, they struggle through the year to make things go. And like I said, they run limits in the crates and stuff. And I know a lot of them guys, and that's, you know, that's their racing.
Yeah.
And like I say, I love all kind of racing. I mean,
Sure.
but when that sprint car Speed Week show comes in there, one night they just pack the
Oh,
place. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I'm not saying but they could, you know, they could put races on
Right.
through the year with the sprint cars, but the problem is they just don't use their head. You know,
Right.
they'll end up scheduling a race like a sprint car race when there's something going on that
Exactly.
doesn't that conflicts with
It
it.
conflicts with it. Yeah, you're right. Can you imagine having a third of the crowd?
I mean, like, I don't know what's going on this weekend. I think it's in the Small Car National.
Small Car Nationals Friday and Saturday.
And
Yeah.
apparently Winchester's putting something. Winchester has something.
Yeah, they have mods, isn't it? UMP mods. Ernie's 4,000 pays pretty good money.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and that's fine, but it just
There's always confliction. I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah, I
you
agree.
know.
Need Jack Gunn back.
yeah.
Jack Gunn. I don't know Jack Gunn. I know of him. I read a lot about him and heard a lot. Apparently, he was a good promoter back in the day of making things happen like that. Mark, do you have anything signed in there before we go ahead and zoom out here?
Just Jamie Connolly said hello, and Ron Trout said a one-day pass of Pittsburgh was $75.
Yeah, that's that one at the end of the year. Of the Pittsburgh.
Wow. Okay. Mark, I tell you what, could you go ahead and bring me that right there, the piece? It's right there beside the welder, Mark.
Besides what?
Well, the welder. You don't know what a welder is. You cut hair for a living. Yeah. Well, Gary, I tell you what, we got you something here, a little something. It's 50th there. Congratulations, Gary Stuhler. Elbows up. 50 years of racing thus far.
That's
we wanted
pretty cool.
we wanted to give that to you. We put it together. We appreciate you coming here on the show tonight, Gary. And we welcome you. Very much welcome. And, we were hyped up to have you on. A lot of people were really excited to have you on. And obviously, you've had a storied career, 50 years, still going strong. I don't know if there's anything I did. Well, I haven't done anything 50 years because I ain't 50 yet. You know what I'm saying? But I'll let you know here in another couple of years. But, it's been quite the ride, obviously, for you, and it's great to see you doing these things, going to Path Valley, going to Lernerville, riding out to Eldora, and I look forward to seeing you in many, many, many more events, and I thank you so much for coming on the House of Dirt tonight, episode number 72, Gary, and thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I mean, like I said, I hope I didn't piss nobody off with this streaming deal and the race. I don't know. I want to see the late model deals kind of get back in this area, and like I said, I have no answers. I really don't. I wish I had the answers, but it's just, and I don't even think it's just the late model deal. Even the mods and the crates and everything's struggling a little bit right now. And I don't know if it's just the way the world is right now with the economy. And
Correct.
But like I say, I don't know what's changed, and I know they're going to be on my butt about insurance and this that. But like I say, this pit pass deal, and I just saw Kenny Wallace put a thing, out about it too, so he's seeing it too.
He's seeing it too, right.
With this, $50 and $55 pit pass. So
100%.
And like I said, it ain't like we're racing for a ton more money than what we were
back in the day. You're exactly
it's
right.
just something's going haywire, but hopefully we can resolve something.
Well, I tell you what, the good thing is we keep talking about it. It's like you did, I did, and people need to keep talking about it and not let it lie, and then keep talking. I think that's the key right there. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning in episode 72 with Gary Stuhler. This has been the House of Dirt, brought to you by Elbows Up Dirt Productions. You all have a great week, and we all want you, Gary and I want you to get out there and support your local racetrack, support them racers, and we'll talk to you here real soon. Take
Thanks
care.
for all the people who come. And
Yeah, thank you for sure.
yeah.